I kept attracting the same type of man, quotation marks, boys in the
Yeah.
same body throughout the course of my life. And I knew that they weren't good for me.
Hello, beautiful, and welcome to Moms Talk Sex, the podcast with me, Maury Elvington, your host. I'm so excited for this super juicy, sexy conversation that I'm going to have with the beautiful Shatel. Hi, Shatel.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. I just want to put it out there. I'm 31 weeks pregnant. So if I sound like I'm out of breath, I am. I'm very tired all the time right now. So
Oh my gosh, that is so exciting, and I'm so excited for you. Congratulations.
thank you.
So I'm so happy that you're here because I'm sure that this conversation is going to be such an aha, heart-opening, mind-blowing, sexy conversation for all our mamas listening out there. So why don't let's start with just introducing you and what it is that you do in the world.
Yes, so I'm a relationship coach and I help women who are currently struggling in relationships and I help them get the love that they desire through their partner by embracing their feminine energy and healing through self-love.
Okay, I love that so much. Um, let's dive a little bit more into this. How did you become a coach, a licensed marriage coach or whatever?
So I don't have my license in it. I did go to school all the way up to my bachelor's, but I didn't go for my master's. So like I technically can't get like officially like a license in it. But how I have become a coach is I was actually just talking to my husband about this last night, is everything has kind of led me to be where I am officially in my life. When I was 17 or in 2017, um, I started into the coaching world and my very first coach that I talked to, I sat down with her and I said, I would love to do what you're doing. I feel very passionate about it. I want to do it on relationships. And at that time, I thought the idea of like helping people in relationships in all different types of ways. You have a relationship with your car, you have a relationship with your animals, you have a relationship with money. So at that time, I had this like really broad idea, and she actually laughed at me and told me that it would never be successful. I steered away from that type of coaching for a very long time, and but I knew that coaching was my passion. I actually had a dream when I was in college during this time actually that I was getting into coaching to be a therapist, but I'm in New York State, and New York State there's a lot of things that you have to follow to be a licensed therapist, and it just was not something that I wanted to do. I wanted to cross a lot of boundaries that I knew I wasn't going to be able to. So getting away from that, you can coach. So I started with self-love coaching, and that was great, but it was too broad. And then I did like a few other types of coaching, and it just kind of like slowly trickled down to what I do today. And I love it so much. It lights me on fire. And um, I myself have had such a broad spectrum of different relationships that I have been in, romantically and friendship wise, honestly. And it's taken me a really long time to understand what I deserve and the type of relationship that I want to be in. And now I'm in a happily 9-year relationship with my husband. And I am every day still learning how to heal my own self to get him to do the things that I want him to do. It works so beautifully knowing the like magicness of like the ingredients that you need for that. And I love to teach other women that because there's so many women who are unhappy in their relationships. You wouldn't even believe it.
No, so maybe break a little of that and like what does that actually mean? What does that actually look like, even in your life?
Like, what part?
Like working on yourself in order to receive what it is that you want from the relationship.
Okay, so what I realized is that what I learned not only from my parents, because I think a big majority of when we look at why we accept what we do, we look at our parents, which is really great. However, you also have to look at society, you have to look at school, you have to look at your friends, you have to look at the commercials that you like there's so much. And once you realize the conditioning that was told to you over and over and over and over and over up until I would say like it's really effective when you're like about 17, 20, like it's embedded in your brain and like it's really going to be effective. So once you realize the conditioning that you've had, you can then look back and reflect on the relationships that you have had in your past. For me specifically, I was accepting people that were horrible. And I'm talking about like friends and boyfriends. And I just wanted a boyfriend to love me. I did not know how to soothe myself. I didn't even know what that meant. I didn't know how to be with myself. I didn't like to be alone. I always had to tell. I had this thing in my head where like I felt like if I died tomorrow, people needed to know the true me. So I would write down in my journal like every day talking about like the true me and like the true ethics that I have in my world. Because I was so afraid that like people were not going to authentically see me after I died. A bunch of really, really dramatic things. So if you look at that scenario, you can see like, okay, so I obviously had a lot of fearful attachment type of situations in my relationships. And I was absolutely attracting that. I kept attracting the same type of quotation marks, boys in the
Yeah.
same body throughout the course of my life. And I knew that they weren't good for me. But like, I think things really changed for me when I was about 21 and I dated this guy that was so verbally and emotionally and psychologically abusive, that it was so like I'm still like this relationship was 10 years ago and I still process the things that I allowed in that relationship. And like one time we were at a party and he was fighting with me doing something and he fell into the garage that we were around, and then when his on purpose, and when his friend saw it, he like she was like, "Oh, like what happened?" And he told her that I hit him. And then she was like, "Well, what is wrong with you?" And at this point, we were already so far in a relationship and he was already so like psychologically damaging to me that I was about to explode. So I ran up to him and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And I'm screaming. I had even family there, all thinking that I was this like psychopath, like this crazy girl, this drunk, just oh, it was so bad. So I ended up walking down the street. I literally wanted to die. I knew I needed to change. I knew there was something in me that like I couldn't keep attracting this behavior anymore. Realizing I have a narcissistic father, so of course I'm attracting these crazy relationships like this. So I really had to do a lot of inner work. I went through a massive spiritual awakening, realized I am a psychic medium. That was a huge turning point in my life of accepting the gifts that I have. Um, Realizing that I needed to learn how to soothe myself. I needed to learn how to be alone. I needed to learn how to talk positive to myself. I needed to literally reparent myself in a way that I've never been parented to help me heal. And through that, I met my husband, and it's really kind of weird that we're still together because even when I met him, I was not healed. And this is why I love helping women stay in their marriages or their relationships because you don't just have to leave if this is someone you truly feel passionate about. When we first met, I was not healed. I was 24 years old and he wasn't healed either. Like he had a lot of issues himself, but it was St. Patrick's Day, we're at a bar. He passes the girl. I'm thinking he's dancing with the girl. So I'm freaking out on him. He's like, I wouldn't do that. I don't know him that well, so I don't know if he was dancing with her or what, but I'm thinking he is. He goes home with his mom. So now I'm like, ew, like, why are you going home with your mom? You're having your mom pick you up from, an hour away from where we are. But he's looking at me like, you're yelling at me. It was chaotic. There was really like no reason why we stayed together, but we felt so passionate about each other and we have stuck together through everything. And now we have, a house, a kid on the way. We have our 2-year-old son. We have so much going for us. And that's because we decided to dedicate to understanding, like he had to understand how to allow me in. I had to understand to soothe myself and be alone. And we did that, both of us in a relationship together. And people don't realize that you don't have to be single to do this work. You can do it when you are in a relationship as well.
Yeah, and do you feel like that makes the couple grow even stronger?
Oh my God, tenfold, tenfold. Like, I know, like, just like kind of shifting gears towards like our sex life. I wasn't having sex with him for a really long time, and it wasn't because I wasn't attracted to him. It had nothing to do with that. It was because I couldn't get vulnerable with myself. So how am I supposed to be vulnerable with him? I couldn't look at myself in that way. So how am I supposed to allow him to let me in, like allow him in my world in that way? So doing so much of that inner healing. I mean, I'm 31 weeks pregnant, and my friends are like, I don't even know how you have a sex drive. And I'm like, me neither, because I didn't with my son. But like, we are out here, having a great sex life because I have done so much work on myself to understand what I needed to do, the ingredients that I needed. He's done so much work on himself, and we have only turned in.
So when you say I have to do all this work on myself, I have my idea, doing this work for 20 years with women, but what does that look like for on your end? When you say I did all this work on myself and someone's listening and maybe she finds yourself in your story, what can she start doing? What can she do to work on herself? What does that look like?
So when I first start working with my clients, like I'll give like an experience with my clients. The first thing that I do with my clients is I talk about what is the conditioning that got you here? What is the thing that led you to the place that you like where you are with your belief systems? We're going to break it down. We're really going to hone in. And that looks different for everybody. I have some clients who have had a really, really traumatic pasts and they don't even realize that it's affecting their present. And then I have some clients who are super aware of what they've gone through, but they just need some tweaking. So that's where we're going to start. We're going to start with the conditioning that you have in your mind of why you are where you are. And then so for me specifically, it was realizing that I had a narcissistic dad and awakening to my spiritual gift and all of that. Then we're going to work on, well, what can you do daily? And it looks different. This is why I love one-on-one coaching. Because I'm like, what is the work daily that you need for yourself? For me, realizing my love for meditation was huge. I'm a really good meditator. Sometimes, I have some clients that are like, listen, I would love to meditate, but like it gives me a lot of anxiety thinking about sitting there for 20 minutes to 30 minutes. That's fine. Don't meditate then. Like you don't have to. Like everybody's so different. I have one client right now loves to journal. She's like, please give me all the journal prompts. But I have another client that's like, I'd rather like listen to a recording. And I'm like, great. Like, that's great. So you need to figure out and advocate for you, whatever you like. A lot of my clients are people pleasers. So we are learning how to recover from the people pleasing. I'm a recovering people pleaser. So a lot of times when you are in something like coaching, you have no idea what you need. You don't know exactly. So I will help you navigate towards that. I will help you navigate through that in order for you to understand, like, do you need a subliminal at night? Do you need to listen to something while you're sleeping to connect to your subconscious mind? Do you like journaling? I like journaling for sure. I journaled my life away for like 5 years, so I think I've had enough of it right now. But I understand if that's something that, one of my clients is not into. Like I said, meditations. But I think the biggest thing is really recognizing the small moments in every day because we can get so honed in on everyday life noise that we go right back to our old habits because we're so distracted. So being so consciously aware of your body and that might look positive and negative. Like the one client that I'm working with right now, she's struggling through a few things and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed." And I'm like, "For what? You're human." Like she had a situation last weekend where like family was over and she had a little bit of an emotional reaction over something. And I'm like, I'm so glad that you recognize that. I'm so glad that you are seeing that you didn't like the way that you reacted. So now let's navigate through that because we're always so judgmental on ourselves. And I had a lot of moments that like that with my husband as well, where like I was embarrassed of the way that I reacted. But the thing is that if you don't ever bring your problems to light, they will always grow in the dark. They can't grow in the light, right? It's kind of like mold. Mold needs to grow where there's no light. And so if you keep them buried, if you keep them covered the entire time, you're never going to recognize and be able to grow. So you have to bring it to light. So bringing it to light with no judgment of what's happening, just kind of being like a third party of like, oh, okay, I actually don't like that. And recognizing you have that control to change it. You don't have to stay the person that you are in this moment, especially if you don't like it.
Yes. I love that so much. That's amazing. So, if anybody listening wants to find out more about you and what you do and where to find you, how can they do that?
Yeah, so I have Instagram self or no, it's Sacred Love, sorry, Sacred Love Coaching with Shatel. I think it's W Shatel. And my name is spelled Shatel. And then I have Facebook, which is Sacred Love with Shatel. And then I have a website, sacredlove.podia.com.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here with me. I love your energy and how vulnerable you are. And I think you really shed light on how it is that when we work on ourselves, everything around us changes and our relationships get better and better.
It's so true. It is so true. Because of the work that I've done in myself, it has made a world of a difference of who I attract in my life, what I accept. I mean, I had friendships that I had an apartment when I was 19 and 20, and I had friends who were in my basement bleaching my clothes. And these were my closest sacred people in my life. And they thought I was funny. They were just pouring bleach on my clothes because they just thought I was funny. Like it wasn't like a, oh, hey, I'm gonna do some laundry for you and like help you out. No, they were just like drunk, and then they would steal things from me. But it was all a reflection of how I felt about myself. It was all a reflection of what I thought that I truly deserved. And once I realized, like, oh, if you don't value yourself, if you don't feel like you're worthy, then how are you going to reflect or how are you going to attract people in your life who are to that high of standard of treating you like you are something worthy in their life? And once I shifted that, everything changed. Friendships, my marriage, my relationship with my mom, like so much has just changed for the best.
It's so amazing. And I think you sharing that also shows everybody that anything is possible, right? Even if you think that you're in the worst place, there's always hope the minute you start working on yourself, realizing that really what you're focusing on is what you're creating. So it's just shifting that focus from an aligned place. So thank you so much for being here with me. I appreciate you so much.
Oh, you're
And
welcome. This is great.
and thank you guys for tuning in and tune with us again next week for another juicy episodes of Moms Talk Sex. Bye.